Marketing, branding, and getting the sale show. And we have a special guest with us here this morning. Welcome, Wojciech. As always, we are going to do a quick intro before we dive into our topic of today, which is organic social media success. So I'm very interested to hear what Wojciech has to add and to hear to see what I think of what he says, and Stephen and Jess, and we'll kind of throw in our stories and experiences as well. All right, so first off, let's do some introductions. Stephen, let's start with you.
Good morning, everybody, and hello, Wojciech. My name is Stephen Lerman from Chameleon BDS. I am an appointment setter, cold call, and prospector. So if you don't like making cold calls, don't have the resource to make phone calls, or just don't have the time to do it, then you can call me and I will do it all for you and I will make some appointments. Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you, Stephen. Jess, over to you.
Unmute myself. Morning, everyone. So I'm Jess. For those of you that have not met me before, I help businesses become more profitable so they can grow and scale. For a lot of my clients, that growth looks like getting into higher end retailers, employing more staff so they can build the team, launching into new markets. So I make sure they've got a compelling brand to get them there. I have a 6-step brand loyalty process that I take my clients on. So if you're intrigued in what that is, I've got a short video. Please feel free to drop me a message and I'll send that over to you. So that's me, Jess. I'm a brand consultant.
Thank you, Jess. And over to Wojciech. Please share what it is that you do and who you help.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Great to be here. My name is Wojciech from Life Networker, and I'm a former lawyer that helps lawyers on social media. And my partner is a former partly qualified accountant. So that's why we're helping lawyers and accountants with getting clients on social media. So yeah, I'm very excited to be here with you guys.
Oh, we're very excited to hear what you have to say as well, Wojciech. Great. And then for anyone who doesn't know me yet, my name is Una Doyle. My business is Creative Flow. I'm a business strategist and coach, and I can help any business to unlock at least 50K in only 50 minutes. If you want to know how, comment below or DM me asking for my 5-step video that shows you precisely how I'm able to do that and how you can do it too. Okay, so introductions done. Let's dive into our topic of today, which is organic social media. So what do we mean by organic social media versus paid media? Wojciech, do you want to enlighten everybody with that?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. These days we have so many options on growing our business on social media. Doesn't matter whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, or any other platform. Obviously, they different in different manners, but we have options of paying for the advertisement, like on LinkedIn or Facebook, and especially Facebook now is at the stage of monetization. For after many years of growing the platform, now is Facebook trying to get more money from clients, from businesses, and obviously restricting the organic side of growing the business. But it's still possible. LinkedIn, on the other hand, is still at the stage of growing. You can do so much more through organic operations. So that's why this topic is, very, very crucial, especially on LinkedIn. So that's why. What do you think, guys? Would you agree with this statement?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's lots of opportunities for people to be able to communicate what they do. I think what's really important though is that they're able to, well, number one, be congruent, number two, be consistent, and number three, just really make sure that they're kind of standing out for what makes them different. So I'm a big believer in making sure that that when that people get really clear on their market dominating position and then bring that through to their content. And I think that's pretty key, rather than just kind of sharing random things. There needs to be some kind of plan behind it, doesn't there?
Absolutely. It's got to be the plan, because just sharing content with no strategy is basically useless, and it's wasting time, money, resources. So that's why it's good to have a coach like you who can prepare the foundations for the social media. That's why we work so good with coaches, and sometimes we work with the same client to make sure that the foundations are there, and then you can go to social media as a way to grow business, to bring clients, to improve brand exposure. So yeah, absolutely, couldn't agree more.
I have a question, if I may. Maybe you may all be able to help me. So obviously, I follow a bunch of different people on LinkedIn, and I always try to comment and add value wherever I can. But sometimes I'll be looking at posts, and the posts aren't necessarily relevant to what that person does. They're just they might just be a news article about something going on in the news, but not specifically relevant to their industry, market, service, or sector. Is there any benefit in doing that? And I know we're talking about strategy and adding value and making yourself relevant and all those other buzzwords, but what is, for me, I mean, I struggle enough time in the day to post relevant stuff to what I do, and then I've got to think about, well, should I be posting something else as well? And I know there's lots of tools that you can use to schedule your posts, but what is the point of posting something like that versus what you actually do?
I think it's got to be connection, because I completely agree. Your content strategy, your content needs to be relevant to your audience, and it's one of these key things when it comes to social media. Sometimes that kind of post could be linked to relevancy, or it could be linked to a bit of lifestyle. Every post is got to be judged on individual merits. So sometimes when someone is asking me this type of question, I'm saying, actually, I would need to see the actual post, actual profile, and if provided that there is a connection and it makes sense to do that kind of post, I would say yes, do it. But if there is no connection, it's not relevant, it's not even touching, kind of showing your lifestyle of your brand, it's then it might be useless. And I can see so many posts out there on LinkedIn, Facebook, that are not relevant to the brand, and actually in many cases they're actually damaging the brand, especially when it comes to subjects that are very delicate. They are around religion, around politics, and oh my God, obviously we all live in this crazy world that so many things are going on now. And obviously, we all like to share stuff, what we think about stuff, but sometimes it's damaging the brand. And if it's not relevant, then I would, many of my clients will hear this from me. It's like, it's up to you. But, you asked me for an opinion. And at the end of the day, it's your profile, it's your values. And if it's something, if something sits strongly with your values, do it. But from the business purposes, this is what you need to be careful with. It's one of these answers that it's got to be judged on individual merits, Stephen. And but yeah, I agree. I can see so many posts out there, and I kind of like, all right, what's the purpose of this?
Yeah,
I'm sure that you found many of these.
Yeah, I think that purpose is really important. Absolutely. I tell you what, I've got a question as well, but before we get into that, what would be one tip that you could give people to be more effective on social media?
Well, definitely, when it comes, it depends on whether we focus on the content. But when it comes to the content, definitely one of the things that we mentioned today, it's got to be relevant. So when you create your content strategy, it's got to be with purpose in mind when it comes to what kind of problems you want to solve. what kind of what are the current issues that your potential clients are facing, and try to address them. Try to find these pain points, and this is one of the things that you can work out with your coach, or you can do it yourself. But usually, it's better to do it with someone that can see the whole picture, because sometimes we are quite narrow narrow-sighted when it comes to our business, because in many cases it's our baby, and we might not be very objective when it comes to that. So definitely this is the key bit, the foundations of your social media operation. Once you have this, then you can move on to the other side of social media. When it comes to LinkedIn, it's got to be personalized, which I really like about LinkedIn, because I can see so much content out there being vanilla, being, or if you're a painter, magnolia. and and you got to find something, and this is especially for the professionals that are building personal brand. You need to find the ways to stand out, to show this uniqueness on social media, and personalize your post, personalize your lead generation, because there are so many people out there that are copying and pasting, and people out there, I specifically enjoy when someone is personalizing messages on LinkedIn or Facebook, when someone is making that extra step, making it fun, and it's actually working. Many times I bought a service or product from someone because they made an effort to personalize the approach in sales. And this is something that you could step in as well, Stephen, because you are business development guru.
Absolutely.
Let's go to Jess. Obviously having some kind of connection issues. You keep disappearing and coming back in. So let's grab you while you're here.
I know.
So what's as a live shows for you? It's just part of the nature of it. So what's a question that you might have for Wojciech, or what would you say in response to what he's just said?
So yeah, apologies. My internet is being terrible this morning. I'm making everyone dizzy jumping in and out, I know, but hopefully I'm here to stay now. I've connected up to another one. So I suppose some things that I'd like to add, I suppose, because I've done a lot of I do a lot of this with my clients, and then obviously I've done a lot of it myself as well. Like exactly like we've just been saying, there's got to be a combination of, character, and you've got to put your own flair on things. The 4 type of content that I kind of use and try and have an even amount each week is, one is character. So my own beliefs, my, my passions, it doesn't have to be relevant to my business, as long as it's relevant to what I believe in and what my customers believe in. Another one is invitation. So I always like to invite people onto an offer and have a call to action. So I don't like calling them sales posts. So I like calling them invitation posts, which help me in my mindset as well. Another one is credibility. So showing off that, what I know in the field, whether it's testimonials, whether it's trends, statistics that I've found, whatever from the industry I can, give to people. And the last one is educational. So giving something for people to do and, from my post. So they're a good kind of 4 ranges. So if that helps anyone watching, then, utilize that. I suppose a question, I've got a few because this is such an exciting topic, and that's another reason why I'm annoyed that I keep jumping in and out. But I'll start with kind of my most recent question, I suppose, that what I thought of. Because when you said that you work with lawyers and accountants, well, you are lawyers and accountants, but you like to work with them sort of people as well. A question that I get asked a lot around branding is, what's the difference between marketing or having a brand from B2B to B2C? So a lot of people go, I've got a brand that sells to businesses. I struggle. I can't do what B2C brands can do. when obviously that's not the case. But what about your opinion through social media as well? If someone's targeting a B2b client or a business as a whole, how can they stand out, and how can they tailor their messages?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's always different strategy when I have lawyers, and sometimes they have B2C, they focusing on the individual clients, and sometimes you have corporate lawyers who are focusing on B2B side of business. So the key thing is to find, because we talk in general social media. So the first question is which platform is relevant to your audience, because it's like networking. When people are asking me, where should I network? I would say you need to network where your potential clients, business partners are. So it's like you need to embrace environment where you want to grow. And the same thing is with social media. You want to be there where your potential clients are. So sometimes I have questions. Oh, should I do something on TikTok? And I say, well, it depends. It depends whether your clients are there, because if your clients are not there, it's pretty much waste of time. So again, we're going back to basics and going back to working with a coach, where you need to assess exactly who are you targeting, whether it's B2B, B2C, and then you go down into the details of who is the individual that you want to work with, you want to connect with on social media. So sometimes the answer will be it's Facebook, and Instagram, it's LinkedIn, it's TikTok, or any other social media platform. And many times I'm asked, oh, Wojciech, LinkedIn is predominantly B2B. What shall I do if I'm targeting individual clients? So it depends on the individual case of if it's a lawyer or accountant, doesn't matter. The first thing is to start with a strategy. So in many cases on LinkedIn, I would advise my clients, if your clients, if you're targeting B2B target, you can go on LinkedIn. One of the strategies is where you don't go after your clients, but you want to connect with your potential referral partners. So, and actually, it's saving a lot of time as well, because you want to connect with repeat business opportunities. And this is what, back in the days when I was working in a law firm, I decided to leave my legal career, and I started doing social media. I started doing loads of networking, um, to grow my brand on social media and in person. On Facebook, I was connecting with my B2C clients, with individual clients. On LinkedIn, I had a completely different strategy, because on LinkedIn, I was building relationships with potential referral partners. So in that case, these were accountants. These were for personal injury cases. That was building relationship with interpreters, with other professionals that are also working with the same type of client. So so always start with the strategy, and the strategy, detailed strategy for each platform, because so many times I can see that people are repeating the same stuff on different platforms, and each platform is different, as you know. It's got different opportunities, and you need to approach your strategy on social media completely different. So that's why when it comes to B2C and B2B question, there's so much you can do, but make it individual, personalized.
I really like that, what you said about thinking, how you can engage with your referral partners. So for instance, me, for my business, LinkedIn is a great place for me to get in front of businesses, get in front of my ideal clients. But then probably Instagram is the best place to engage with joint venture partners. people that also do something similar that what I do, and we can collaborate to make sure that the client gets everything that they need. So that's a really interesting kind of angle, and that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, it's interesting one, because for you, the Instagram is the type of platform where you can find these referral partners. For someone else, it's LinkedIn. For someone else, it might be Facebook, because back in the days, where in the personal injury world, I was trying to connect. I was connecting with garages, and most of them, the owners or the decision makers of the garages, I could find on Facebook. So I was looking for referral partners on Facebook, and that was pretty much organic operation. And obviously, that was back in the days where Facebook organic reach was slightly bigger.
How long ago was that, Wojciech? Brilliant. I've got a question actually, which is, I used to get thousands of views on every post that I did on LinkedIn, and now it's like dropped to hundreds if I'm lucky. And so I'm curious as to, I know there has been changes in the algorithms, because I think a lot of people kind of were hit with that. But what do we need to be doing differently to get kind of, I mean, it's interesting because I do still get comments, but my reach has really reduced. So I'm curious as to, what do you think is going on, and what do I need to be doing to kind of be able to reach more people?
I think this is type of questions that we always get each year when platforms like LinkedIn are changing things, adding stuff to algorithm, and you have all these, social media experts, agencies trying to find out, all right, what's the new deal? What's the new situation? What's changed? And then you have reports, or this change, this and that. And I think it's part of our job. It's like, when you're a doctor, you need to keep educating yourself. When you're a lawyer as well, there's new stuff going out, being published, new law, and you need to keep up with this. Same thing is with social media. You need to monitor the changes, what's being published by LinkedIn. And then sometimes it's one of these guesswork. LinkedIn is saying, oh, we're introducing this and that. And sometimes they will say, oh, we're planning to embrace this, and then everyone needs to guess, okay, what they done.
Right.
and then you need to, okay, let's see what everyone else is doing. So one of the things you can do is to keep experimenting, what's working, what's not, to watch what others are doing and how it's changing, to keep to basically monitor what's going on the platform. This way you can pretty much keep up with the changes. What you can do to improve the reach, it's definitely, I'm a huge admirer of very complex approach to when it comes to LinkedIn, to building your LinkedIn. So basically, it's not just content on LinkedIn, and it's not just content, because if you post, you do it regularly, boom, LinkedIn will reward, because obviously LinkedIn wants people to be active. They like when people are engaging, when they are posting regularly. Fine, but that's not all. What you can do as well is to grow your network and to engage with your network. So that's why I love LinkedIn, because it's a one big networking platform. And for me, it's a dream come true, because networking was an important part of my life, my career. I built my career thanks to networking, thanks to building relationship. And then I managed to start my own business thanks to networking, then grow this business. And in the personal life as well. Even my fiance I met at networking meetings. So so that's why my business is called Life Networker. And great part of it is that LinkedIn allows us to build meaningful relationship. And this is the missing piece, that if you see all these, big guys on LinkedIn, they're not just posting, they are engaging, they're commenting on the potential clients, business partners, on other key people posts. They are engaging, they're giving something more than just their content. So when I say, and it's a bit, it's a bit like, it's a bit like karma. I know that I shouldn't involve, religion or anything else, but you give something for, your knowledge, your expertise, your energy, your positivity out there, and the results will come. So that's why LinkedIn is giving us so much more, because it's giving us opportunity to show our uniqueness, to share stuff, valuable stuff. And when you do that, people will come organically. People will come because they want to be part of your tribe. They want to be part, they follow you and your posts because they share some of your values, they share your mission, there are things that we have in common. And this is what is connected. This is what's so networking face to face and networking on LinkedIn or social media have in common. We are following someone on YouTube. We are following someone on LinkedIn because there is something we have in common. It could be a mission, it could be a goal, it could be a dream. So that's why it's so important to be clear about what you're about, what's your dream, what's your mission, why are you out there on LinkedIn? Why are you out there? And this becomes like a one big magnet. And this is where people start to like your posts. This is where your people, the people that want to be part of your tribe, they start commenting, they sharing, and all of a sudden it's growing. So you start small, and you appreciate every single comment, you appreciate every single share, every single like. You engage with these people, you care about them, and this will grow naturally, like a little tribe that is connected with other tribes. And then all of a sudden you look at it and like, oh my god, I have the whole country here now.
Yeah, I have to confess my engagement has dropped in recent months just because I've been a lot busier, so I'm gonna have to carve out some time for that, aren't I? And it's interesting, I do enjoy doing it because I love people, so I love interacting, and I'm happy to do that in the comments or in messages. But yeah, it can be quite time consuming, can't it? So it's
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yes it is. And so many people are saying, watch, I don't have that much time. And I say, all right, so where's your time going? And then when people are starting to say, oh, I'm doing this, and I'm kind of like, okay, is this generating you business, or is it generating something that you aim for? And then all of a sudden people are like, oh, okay, no, not really. I was like, so why don't you set aside this time and add this half an hour a day to LinkedIn, and then you will see where the magic happens.
Absolutely. I'm just reading Atomic Habits at the moment, and
Love it.
it's a brilliant book, and I've heard about it so many times. And James Clear, the author, I get his newsletter, and it's one of the ones that when it pops into my emails, like there's very few people who I hear from. I'm doing a big purge of my subscriptions at the moment, but he's definitely one I'll be keeping. And it is that thing about, even if you could just do one comment. If you did one comment a day, that's 5 more than you would have done at the end of the month. That's kind of 20 odd comments that you've done that you would not have done, and it just takes a few minutes. And I think probably for me it's more that I would start doing it and then keep doing it. So I probably need to set a timer for myself and kind of go, okay, I'm going to spend 10 minutes That's what I have. I'm going to spend 10 minutes and do this. So I think a little and often can be actually very, very powerful. I think for myself, because I work with a lot of creative people, I'm a creative person, and we tend to like doing things in blocks of time so we can get engrossed in it. Whereas I think sometimes with this kind of thing, we need to be able to just dip in and out a little bit. Or maybe we spend, as you know, a block of time once or twice a week, and do a bit more. I guess that could work as well, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And well, you touched the subject I'm very passionate about. And actually, when I read and implemented Atomic Habits, oh my God, that changed my morning routine, the habit stacking, and actually, when I do some stuff for my personal social media, my personal LinkedIn, it's
Yeah.
actually part of my morning routine where I do certain things and at certain time, one after another. So habit stacking was like one of these things that I took away from the book. So highly recommend it as well.
Definitely. And I think I'll just share one little thing actually, which is I've in recent times my iPod broke. So I've been doing a morning routine for donkey's years. My iPod broke, which meant that in order for me to do because I always do guided meditation things, and so I would listen to my phone, but I would invariably get distracted because my phone is the place where I scroll and into kind of more around sewing stuff than business stuff actually, but it's and so I've got a new iPod last week and started using it, and it's just like, right, now I'm back on track again. And it's amazing how we need to think about how do we build these structures into our lives, into our businesses. And that's a lot of what I do kind of personally and with my clients is create these structures that help them to streamline everything and make everything work better. And so we can do the same thing with social media, can't we? And in fact, just as we've been talking, I've got an idea. Every time I go and boil the kettle to make a cup of tea, I'm going to go and do a comment. Right. So, and then that way, unless I'm kind of swapping my laundry over, which is another thing I tend to do when I'm boiling the kettle. So if it's not laundry, I'm going to be making a comment.
Don't be surprised if your tribe on social media will ask you each time you comment, and they kind of like, "What you brewing this time?"
Are you making a cup of tea? Exactly. Exactly. Right. Well, listen, I think we've covered quite a bit. But I just want to ask one more question, which is, what's the biggest mistake that you see people making that we haven't already covered, as in, what to do instead?
One of the things that one of the mistake is not being consistent. Definitely. People they try social media. It doesn't matter whether it's LinkedIn but especially LinkedIn. And after a month or two, they stop and it doesn't work. Then after 1 month or two, they go back to LinkedIn again, and they start from the scratch. And with any social media, obviously you start with a strategy, but it needs consistency. Sometimes it's the culmination of the things coming together, the things you do. They need time. Obviously, it's different when you use paid advertisement. You have funnels and everything, but especially with organic, and today we've been talking about organic side of social media. In each time, it's the same way. You don't build personal brand or brand overnight. It's a combination of things that you have to do. Your mission, your values, then you work on your credibility, and then comes visibility. And visibility, because you can have a fantastic brand, great values, great mission, but if no one sees that,
Exactly.
then you're nowhere. So that's why to build that traction it needs consistency of actions, certain things, in order for the people to see you. It's like, yeah, and the same thing. I compare social media to networking because actually my partner, she's the social media expert. She knows all the algorithms. Um, I know some stuff, but I'm by heart and by profession, I'm a networker. This is what I do, and I do networking face to face, and I do networking on social media, and it's great. And both needs consistency. Both need time that you need to spend on implementing your strategy, and changing things, because sometimes you need to review, then then monitor what's been done, what are the results, and then sometimes you need to slightly amend the direction. You need to change the pace on social media, and you
Yeah.
have to do, and that's why you need consistency, because if you don't do it long enough, you won't have valid results that you can measure, and then
Yeah.
amend the track, and the pace. So this is one of the things people want: overnight success, and in most
Always. And it doesn't come overnight. And it's never just one thing.
and then you have these stories of success. You're like, oh, congratulations, and then it's like, yes, I'm overnight success that took 20 years or took
Exactly.
5 years.
A lot of the time when you see these things of, oh, this person, they implemented this, and in 6 months their business went from this to this, what they don't tell you is that when you scratch the surface, you'll often find that person had 2 or 3 other iterations of that business or other businesses where they cut their teeth and they learned certain lessons. And so then when they came to this new fresh business, they were able to go boom, 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 implement. All this stuff is there. I'm doing this, and then they're able to kind of leverage it, and but quite often we don't get to see those things, or they already had the funds in place that they were like the team behind them from day one, which for many other people takes a few years to build up that team as well, and to have that kind of support. So yeah, absolutely. I want to make a distinction actually, and just kind of pull out from what you were saying there. There's a difference between consistency and predictability, isn't there? Because I think as consumers, as media consumers, we like things that are new and that are different. And so we want to see people show up consistently. But what you were saying about, you do want to be reviewing your content, and you don't want to get boring, do you? You don't want to get kind of, oh, here we go, here's the same kind of post, yeah, that I think that's probably, is that kind of part of
Absolutely.
what you meant there?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And one of the other things, when you do, and it's pretty much with business, with anything, you need to keep on failing a couple of times to find sometimes the right way. Same thing is with with social media campaigns. When you prepare a campaign, and sometimes people like, oh, Wojciech, how come? Many times we've done, for example, the camera confidence challenge, where people can get used to the camera, and they can embrace the camera anxiety. And many times people are like, oh, Wojciech, how come you managed to get hundreds of people joining in a group? Like, yeah, well, it's because I've learned from 50 other attempts that didn't work.
You spend time building up that audience as well. Yeah. So people don't often understand the numbers that are required behind the scene, that are required to kind of to get a few hundred people into a challenge. Actually, you're going to have thousands of people that you're already connected with and reaching. And yeah, absolutely. So great. I think what I'd love to do is just kind of go around, like, well, for myself, Stephen, and Jess, to say what we think has been kind of most significant for us and what you've talked about here today. So Jess, I'll come to you first, then Stephen, and then I'll go, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, so there's been loads, hasn't there? Now I kind of missed the first bit, but yeah, there's been a lot. But consistency, I think, I know we've just spoke about it, but to me, you know, when I wrote down some things that I could say, consistency was the top one. You know, consistency is key, and like we've said, not just consistent in timing, you know, but your message, your visuals, you know, who you're talking to, things like that. Something that I just want to add on as well. I've been doing some research on trends, marketing trends for this year, and one of them is making sure your customer or client is engaged at each stage of the journey, because as consumers, we're becoming more and more independent now, aren't we? We've got access to so much more, especially with the internet, you know, and stuff like this, but also a lot more businesses coming online. So, you know, the competition is really high. So now we've got to really make sure that we're talking to our clients, our customers at the different stages. So don't just post to get sales in from new clients, you know, nurture your existing clients. Talk to people that you've spoke to before, but they're still unsure. You know, make sure you're touching them different stages. So yeah, that's what I'd love to say as well.
Great, fabulous. Thanks, Jess. What about you, Stephen?
I think for me, it's because I asked the question originally, it was about relevance. You know, don't just post for the sake of it. You know, have a message that you want to get out there. Because for me, it seems to be just a waste of time. You know, there's far more important things to be doing. So if you've got a message, make it relevant to what you do. And, you know, and that would help. I believe that will help with engagement, which is what it's all about at the end of the day. And also the other thing that you mentioned on, you know, your reach has dropped. Do they post? Do LinkedIn share the changes to their algorithm so we know?
No.
So how are you supposed to find out?
So people like Wojciech and people like Wojciech and his team, they test and they experiment and they make conclusions and then share those conclusions.
So for me, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So why change it? If something's working well, don't change it. That's what that befuddles me completely.
Well, it's one of these things. Each platform is a living platform. They keep on changing things, they're adding things, and there is always change of algorithm. And algorithm is one of these things that is like a best kept secret of each platform, because if everyone knew what's exactly the recipe for success, that would kill completely the rules. So that's why it's a best kept secret, and then everyone is like guessing or trying test and error, and they checking what's working, what's not, and then you have reports of many people sharing stuff. Oh, this is what's been working for me, or I've done tests on these number of posts and this worked for me, and then others are checking it as well and they sharing. So it's kind of like a community helping each other. I advise you have different groups and fan pages which are designed to help. So you have fan page like LinkedIn for creators, where creators are sharing stuff, where they publish, for example, what kind of hashtags are popular next week. So there's so much information out there that you can.
Fan page, is that like a Facebook page or a group, or is that a LinkedIn group?
It's official LinkedIn. So there are many official LinkedIn fan pages where they give support to creators, to people using the platform, and they. So the one in particular, last year I saw many posts where they were supporting creators by sharing. Okay, next week is the International Day of, I don't know, coffee, and the hashtag is coffee is awesome. Yeah, I'm just made it up, by the way, but it's something like this.
I have to get that from you. In fact, you could post that in the comments. That would be fantastic. I will definitely want to start following that. It sounds very useful. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's we're on the hour now, so we need to wrap things up. I think what you've shared here has been very useful in getting people to think differently about how they approach the social media. So thank you as always to Jess and Stephen for your input as well. And we look forward to having you back on the show soon, Wojciech. Have a great day, everybody. We'll be here same time next week. Bye for now.
Thank you.